Well, sorry about that. Welcome to the UFO and Time Travel Radio Show. This is your guest, Renato. And on the line, we have our host, Bart.
Hey, Renato, what's going on?
What's up, man? How's it going, Bart?
Pretty good.
Long time no talk. It's been 6 months since the last time.
Has it really?
We've done a show. Yep. 6 big ones. I don't think really all that much has happened personally, except for
I know,
more personal discoveries for me.
There have been?
Yeah, like little things like ever since Scribd.com blew up, I've been reading all those books that people tell you, oh, you got to get this book and you got to get that book. It's on Scribd for free because people are just taking it upon themselves to scan their books and upload them. And a book you'd go pay $30 for at Amazon is right there for free on Scribd.
Yeah.
And I've just been I've been reading all the Jane Roberts material. She's got a lot, man. That Seth speaks, and that's what I'm reading right now, actually. I've been reading about Inner Earth. I've been reading about those UFO patents. It's nuts, man. There's a wealth of information there for free that a lot of this stuff, like I said, a lot of the stuff that you would normally pay for is there. So I say get it while the getting's good, you know? But,
do you recognize the people on the attendance list?
Oh, let me see. Smiter. Hey, what's up, Smiter? I think Smiter might have been here before.
Yeah.
Angels of God. I think that's a new person. Hi, Angels of God. Hello, Smiter. Hello, Roll 57. Hello, guest. But,
Angel of God already found already had a dispute with the material.
Well, what material? I'm just winging it.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, just in case they're not up to date on things, what's the short version of what your story is?
Well,
why we're talking.
The reason why we're talking is because I had an experience, or think I had an experience, that I was abducted while I was at work as a security guard, and I was in a remote location by myself. And after I was abducted, I was a time traveler that they sort of like made me the test pilot and then let me run wild with it for a while, I guess. That's pretty much what goes on in my mind.
And that all occurred around the year?
Right. And I've had a bunch of resurfacing thoughts that I started writing down. And after I wrote them down, just for my own sanity, I didn't have the courage to research it on the internet. And once I did, I started finding corroborations with everything I wrote down. Mm-hmm. Like the satellite shaped like a ball, I can't even, you caught me off guard. I can't even think of all the things. There's like a big list of like 30 things.
Yeah. No, I know there's a lot of them. So just to get anybody new listening up to date on it.
Right.
That incident occurred in 92.
Right. The abduction.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
Oh. It happened in 92.
Yeah, and basically in 1997, the thoughts started surfacing where, I don't know, they were haunting me. At first, I couldn't go to sleep. I was afraid to go to sleep, you know that part. And then I finally, at first I tried to drink the thoughts away. I was drinking myself to sleep, smoking weed, so to forget it, so it wouldn't bother me because it was like there on my mind, like a thorn in my side initially. But then I don't know, when I started facing it, it just, something in me just clicked where it started not seeming so bad, and it started not frightening me, where I guess like once you get to the point of anger where you want like answers, I guess. And you know, like when you're angry, you're not scared anymore, you know, and I guess I got to like that point. But then anger isn't the answer either. But that's like in a general sense, of course. Now I'm going off track. But that's pretty much putting it briefly. The bottom line is, if I can put it in one sentence, I think I was abducted and I time traveled. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good that's a good launching point.
Yeah, I don't believe it 100%, but I'm pretty up there. I'd say like right now I'm at like 80%.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be here, at all if I didn't believe a little bit. And if we didn't find all those corroborations, you bet your ass I wouldn't be here, man. Mm-hmm. But we did. Like the Serpo story, the mass landing. The mass landing is the biggest one for me. I mean, nobody told me about no mass landing. I didn't read about it in no book. The closest thing I saw to it was Judgment Night. Judgment Day, I mean, the movie Judgment Day with Will Smith.
Yeah.
And
Independence Day.
Oh, sorry. Whatever. But anyway.
Is that a Freudian slip? I don't know.
Whatever, man. Whatever. Independence Day. That's like the closest thing, I think. But what was in my head made that movie look like nothing, It made that look like a few peppered UFOs in the sky, where what was in my head looked like a cloud, it was like a swarm of bees, a big, huge, dense fog, if you will, And then this is just going in my head alone. There's no real influence other than maybe that movie. And then I start reading about it. And what are we up to as far as people saying there's going to be a mass landing? What are we up to, like 10 people now or something? Like five whistleblowers from the government, another like 10 or 20 people from the UFO abduction books of the 80s and 90s and 70s. We
could probably keep going. I mean, we could definitely keep going. We never pursued it because we were convinced enough. Exactly.
It's like now I'm stumbling onto corroboration. I'm not looking for it. It just poof, just kind of pops up right in front of me.
I wanted to ask, just real quick, as a side topic, what made you choose today to talk?
Because it was 2 months away, and I figured that would be enough time to maybe promote a little.
Yeah. It's just funny because I was thinking there's probably something interesting that'll happen before the date, or maybe the date is interesting in itself. There's some sort of I don't know what you call it.
March 8th?
There's some sort of I don't know what the word is.
Is it?
Is there something?
Is it a sign of Aries right now or something?
Yeah. Well, actually, will be. I think that starts. I mean, my birthday's on the 22nd, so it starts.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts how your birthday and like two of my kids' birthdays are so close together?
Yeah. I almost thought one of your kids was going to be born on my birthday. That was weird.
Yeah, close though, very close.
But I actually added the date up, and if you add up the month, the day and the month, and then you add up the year, you get 11/11.
How did I know you were going to say that?
I don't know.
I was waiting for that punchline.
It's pretty funny.
Well, hey man, 11/11 seems to be the very significant number.
Yeah.
It's supposed to mean the gates and a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, I've been paying attention to a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Just witnessing weird stuff like that in my own life.
Maybe I had this radio show to complain about waiting. If this is real, then I'm tired of waiting. But that's really what it's boiling down to here, Bart.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sick of these memories, right? They haunt me. They're, it's plenty of yin and yang. You know what I'm saying? On one side, it feels like there's a potential utopia ahead.
Yeah.
For maybe not it. Well, for the listen, the manifest destiny thing, I'm sticking with till the end. The people who want gloom and doom, they're gonna get it. The people who want Fantasyland, they're gonna get it, and that's the bottom line. But anyway, and I believe that, and I just keep trying to look forward to Fantasyland. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm trying to keep it in layman's terms, and I hope the listeners forgive me if I'm not being so serious, because I'm trying not to take it so seriously. You know?
But also you've talked it over. We've talked it over and over and over for the last 2 years or whatever.
Exactly. 6 months ago, I think I felt like, I had enough, in the sense that I don't need any more convincing, and I'm satisfied with what I found.
Snyder's calling.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at my screen. What did he say? He's calling?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go pick it up. Sorry, man. I went to go have a cigarette. I'm away from my computer. Sorry.
You're the worst host.
Yeah. I know. I suck. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Oh, we got 2 callers.
Oh, really?
Hello, 936 caller. You're on the air.
That's me.
Hey, how's it going, man?
All right, I'm Smiter, Thomas.
Hey, Smiter, how's it going, man? What do you prefer to be called?
Oh, you can call me either one. I'll answer to either one. The thing I'll say though about what you've been saying is, an ancient Chinese philosophy. Change is coming, and it's going to be big change. And you can either embrace the change and make it a part of yourself, or you can live in denial of it and be consumed by it.
Exactly. That almost falls in line of people saying that they create their own heaven or hell right now while they live. Like you kind of, even though the path might be unknown, you're still kind of plotting your own course, and in other words, you get what you wish for, man, or manifest destiny is the best way I could think of it. But I understand exactly what you're saying, Tom.
Yeah.
There are different truths about the world that are being revealed to people as we draw closer to this time, and most of mainstream society shies away from this or lives in denial of it. They don't want to know the truth.
Well, the propaganda machine has been very strong, and only now people are realizing, hey, one media, one company controls 90% of the channels on our television and cable. People are just starting to notice that now, and
it's been going on for a long time.
Exactly. People are just realizing now that, for example, the Federal Reserve is private. You know what I mean? Like, I just realized it. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of there's a lot of blockers out there, and people are programmed to be blockers themselves by default sometimes, and they're just breaking out of it now. And I guess, as you said, it's because we're approaching that time of change.
Yeah, there's a lot of truths that are going to come out, and people are going to live in denial of them, and those are the people I feel sorry for, because they're not going to be ready for what's coming, and they're not going to be able to handle it, and they will be consumed by it. I mean, we're talking about death on a global scale.
Well, yeah, some people. It's gonna appear differently to everyone. Everybody's gonna interpret it differently. To this group of people, it's gonna look like suicide. To this group of people, it's gonna look like just a tragedy, a natural disaster. It's gonna take many forms, I think, too. I think it's gonna go every which way. It's gonna be, like an explosion of a kind of energy I can't even fathom.
Well, I've discovered my own truths, and when this time comes, I'm going to the woods and disappearing until it's all over.
Well, what if right now, the biggest scenario, of course, is nuclear war or war. What if that doesn't happen? What if it ends up being a meteor strike?
I don't think it's going to be that either. I think it's going to be a series of events that lead to famine and the total collapse of our society as we know it. I don't think it's going to come down to an Armageddon-type destruction of the world with nuclear missiles or a meteor or something of that nature. I think it's going to be man falling on man. You know, when people are fighting each other in streets to feed their own kids and killing one another for the food, I mean, that's what it's going to be really bad. That's why I say I'm going into the woods, and I'm not coming back out of the woods until it's over.
I understand. Well, you know what? I think that there's a high probability to what you're saying, but when I imagine the future, I imagine that whatever calamity there is, whatever label it has, whether it's war, natural disaster, meteor showers, Planet X, whatever, I think that for the people who are, in other words, I guess just to put it flat out, I think that there's going to be a group of people, if you call them maybe ETs or whatever, but I think that they're going to come, show themselves, and offer their help. And to me, the programmed people are going to say no. Everything's evil. They don't trust it because they don't know it. And then there's going to be the open-minded people who run to them and say, thank you. You know.
Well, one thing I've seen is that one of the changes that will happen for not everyone, but for a lot of us who do know already what's coming, we will be as much soul as we are physical body. Exactly.
That they say that there's the possibility of people crossing into what's called the fourth dimension or the astral plane. I've been reading. Well, I mean, I've thought it way before I've read about it. I don't know. Now I'm learning the lingo, like astral travel and whatnot. To me, it was just out of body, you know. Like back, when I had no clue what this stuff was. But can I ask you something, Tom? You said you saw this. How did you see it? Are you like a remote viewer or something, or?
That's what people tend to call me. I don't label myself that. I do what comes naturally. And when I open myself up and look at certain things, when I can go out on the highway outside of the small town and I see things that haven't happened yet, and I see cars piled up, bumper to bumper, and I hear the screams of humans as they're being murdered by other humans because I dared to look, it's a little daunting.
Gotcha. Do things change?
Yes.
Good. Can I want to invite the other caller. I don't want to keep him hanging there.
Sure.
Is it okay? Hold on.
Sure.
Hello, 704 area code. How you doing?
Hey, how are
Renato?
you tonight?
Hey, how's it going?
This is Don in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey, Don, how's it going, man? Thanks for calling in the show.
Good. Thanks for producing it. It's nice to hear an alternative view to the other cookie-cutter paranormal shows.
Well, like I said, I don't know if you're listening from the beginning of the show, but I'm just kind of winging it. I consider myself to be an experiencer, and I'm just telling my story and throwing my opinion on top of it. Simple as that.
As long as you're not owned by Clear Channel, it's cool.
Nobody owns me. There's no advertising on any of my websites, none of that shit. I'm not in this to make money. I feel like my real underlying message is just to spread love and for people to come together as a community, just like what John Titor says.
Yeah, we need to more than ever now. It's time for like-minded people to bond together.
And people may try to throw negative words on top of it, like communism, but I think the best word to describe what I'm trying to say is communityism, where it's all about the community. You ever heard the saying, it takes two parents to have a child and physically make a child, but it takes a village to raise a child?
Well,
you ever hear that saying?
Yes, I have myself. But
I believe in that.
what I'll say about this is, so one thing you can't interfere with is free will.
Indeed.
You can't take people, and that's why it's going to be so bad for so many people on this planet, not just in this country or anywhere else, but on the planet, because they will choose to ignore or live in denial of what they see.
Right. Well, listen, imagine the scenario that, God forbid, Planet X really shows up, and it's going to come within, 100 miles of the Earth, and it's going to throw off let's put that scenario out there, right? Now, let's imagine, for the sake of argument, that extraterrestrials from a neighboring planet, if they exist, came by to try and save people and take them away to keep, just for the simple sake of procreation and whatnot, for Earth people, right? And let's say they're not. Let's say it's Earth people from the future who figured out time travel, right? So they're not breaking any Galactic Federation rules and the laws of nature and whatnot. And half the people are still going to say, no, I'm not going with you. I don't want to be saved. I don't care if there's a tidal wave coming. I'm going to let it come here and bash me.
Well,
there's going to be plenty of people like that.
One of the dubious honors that so many of us will have that get, quote-unquote, left behind is cleaning this planet up. In other words, scourging the planet of everything that man has done to destroy it over the last several hundred years. That's going to be our dubious honor when we reach this state of being as much soul as we are physical being. Absolutely.
Well, you know what? So there's going to be people who are happy as can be to do it, and there's going to be people who just gave up. And we know who the obvious people are going to be who are going to go first. It's going to be the greedy.
Yeah.
They're going to run into death. They're going to think they're running away from death. They're going to, they're going to be jumping out of the frying pan into the fire directly, most of them, without even trying, without even somebody else coming and kicking their ass into it. You know what I mean? They're just going to do it themselves. It's all going to be, to me, like I said, manifest destiny, like in my opinion. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be. I've been trying. I've been trying to figure out how to astral travel and how to remote view. I've been studying it. I can't, I think I figured out one thing though. Tell me if your opinion on this, anybody, is I've been thinking a lot that music has some important role for us, right? Somehow, right? And what I think it is they say when you meditate, first you have to relax, and the other ingredient is focus. And a lot of times when you're focusing, they say the littlest noise will throw you off because it took your focus away, right? So I'm thinking, what if you listen to nice music, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like Om or any of that crap, music you like, that puts you in the mood. And listening to that just to keep your focus, just to filter out the other noises that might throw off your focus. Do you think that's a good or bad idea? Because I was thinking about trying it.
I think it's a great idea because nature itself, you can go and listen to the sounds of nature in the woods, and the trees and the wind and the insects and the birds.
Well, the thing is supposedly once you hit the right state of mind or the right trance or whatever to leave your body, you don't hear what's on the headphones anymore. You left your body. Now you hear.
Oh no, yeah, you'll hear that astral. You'll hear that astral noise. It's a very loud, sounds like a roaring jet sometimes. Yeah.
Really?
Yep. You'll hear the astral wind. Yes.
So you've done it too?
Just out of body experiences.
Really?
Yeah.
Art, has this ever happened for you, by the way? Because I know you said you studied this.
What's that?
Art?
I'm listening, yeah.
Did you ever astral travel? I've never asked you that.
I read the Robert Monroe books, and I actually had one experience where I left my body about maybe about 8 years ago or so, but that was the only sole instance that happened.
Gotcha. Now, Tom and I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Don.
Tom and Don. I'm sorry, I should have remembered Don because my nickname is Dondo. But so you guys are saying you both have done this and do this frequently?
No.
Well,
not frequently.
For myself, I don't really meditate or focus or anything like that. I simply project myself out and do it. It's never been a question for me of having to meditate. I've reached out and taken pain away from people in Australia and New Zealand.
Really?
And had them confirm for me that their pain was going away. And I'm in Texas. So you have to understand that one of the things you do with your mind, time and distance have no bearing on what you do.
True. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
if you project yourself outward to do something, such as take pain away from somebody, going all the way to New Zealand with your mind is just as quick as turning and looking at your computer screen, because it's instant. There's no, time and distance simply have no bearing on what you do with your mind. And
Gotcha.
The body that you're in right now is just a sagging skin suit.
Right.
The way I liken the human body is like when you go to a movie theater or an arcade and you see one of those video games that you sit in and there's a steering wheel and you put quarters in and you're actually driving it, but you're inside the video game. That's kind of like what your human body is. Your soul lives in the video game, in the body. So your body is really nothing.
Well, so you're saying basically, are you talking about strictly astral travel or just remote viewing, or both?
Well, anything you do with your mind, as far as astral traveling or projecting yourself to this side of the world or into the future or into the past.
Let me ask you this, Tom. Did somebody teach you how to do it? Did you figure it out on your own, or is it something that simply came naturally to you?
When I was 20 years old, a woman helped me to understand and learn what I was doing, but at a certain point, she quit teaching me, and I began to learn on my own from there.
Gotcha. So it's something that, for most people, that has to be developed. Even if somebody tries to teach it till they're blue in the face, it's still something that has to kind of just click one day?
Well, you have to understand certain things about yourself. Everyone has what we call psychic experiences, and this is where using language is very inefficient compared to using the mind, because you have to use words that don't always have the correct meaning or get transposed by people because of their perceptions. Everyone has psychic experiences.
Yeah,
everyone,
like they say in the dream world.
Well, everyone has had the phone ring, and without looking caller ID, they knew who it was. And the first thing they say is, "Wow, that was a weird coincidence. I knew who was on the phone before I answered it."
Yep. And then they turn around and blow it off and not believe it, kind of keeping themselves in that box.
Right. The thing is, you have to understand about people is, as a child, at a certain age, your parents or other adults as well teach you what is real and what is imagination. Oh, that's just imagination. That's not real. You didn't really see that or hear that. And so at a very early age, we're taught what is real and what is imagination. And as we go through life, whatever doesn't fit into our narrow definition of reality, we categorize as imagination, and the first thing that we say is, that's BS. Gotcha.
Can I ask you, have you had any experiences with UFOs or extraterrestrials, and whether it be physical or non-physical? And same thing goes for you, Don.
I'll let Don answer that first.
Well, first of all, I was going to refer you to a website called AboveTopSecret.com. I don't know if you're familiar with that website.
I very much so am, my friend. I've been banned from it 7 times.
Oh. Have you seen the new, well, I don't know how new they are, Ed Grimsley's night vision goggle videos?
No.
Ed Grimsley goes out into the desert and he puts these real high powerful 3rd generation night vision goggles and mounts these optics on telescopes, and he points them up at the sky. And you just be amazed. There's a lot of stuff flying around up there. But when you talk about aliens, you're talking about infrared, you're talking about fourth dimension, you know, and...
Well, anything, man, anything. I'm talking...
I don't think they manifest themselves in the physical sense. I think if they're here in the physical sense, I think they've blended in as
if they're
humanoids.
walking down the street, you wouldn't know it unless they want you to.
Right. But I think for the most part, they operate in much higher wavelengths, higher energies, you know,
now,
like we were talking
when you say that, right, can you think in terms of, like, speed?
In terms of what?
Shut up, quiet.
You know, like,
Speed.
Like, all right, for example, a minute ago Tom was saying that, you know, with astral travel, it's not like you're flowing, it's almost like you're instantly there. And
Sure.
do you think it's like, in terms of speed, things happen just that quickly? And that...
Oh, well, absolutely. It makes sense. If you were to go from one end of the universe to the other, it would take you 13 billion years at the speed of light versus, the Stargate principle where you can, just open up a little seam and pop in and out. So absolutely, yeah, it's just like blinking your eye, imagining it. It works, same principle. There's no way you could physically traverse these distances, so that has to be the means of galactic travel, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, yeah, I'm just looking, like, I like to find whether people who come in contact with me specifically are experiencers. You know what I mean? Like, had something weird happen to, I try to, like, how they say nothing happens for a reason and you meet certain people for a reason. I'm trying to find that reason for you guys. Like Bart. I know I found him. You know where I met Bart? I met Bart at Above Top Secret.
Nice.
And I've been on Above Top Secret for about 2 years. I was banned 7 times because I think the place is half scam. What can I say? I think
disinformation agents.
I think there's evil. Yeah, I think the disinfo lurks about just as much as the real info.
Well,
absolutely.
Do you guys know about the most important crop circle ever?
Nope.
Let's hear about it, Tom.
3 of them.
Yeah, if you put those words in YouTube, you could see the video of it. But there was a crop circle done in Puerto Rico in 2003 that answered the questions that we transmitted in 1974. Carl Sagan and a group of NASA engineers transmitted a message from that radio telescope in Puerto Rico. And the crop circle was in binary and gave the answers to the questions that Carl Sagan and his people had transmitted in 1974, and it was answered in 2003. And you can watch that at any time. But one of the things it says in the crop circle is to be aware of false prophets.
Yep. Yeah, well, since you brought up religion, sort of, that's another thing conclusion I've came into my life ever since I've faced these experiences that I think I had. And one of the conclusions I came to on my own is that I think that religion, not believing in God or the Creator or the Source, because I do believe in that, but I have a real hard time with religion, period, because to me it's another form of separation and keeping society in their little boxes. You got the Jews hating the Catholics and the Christians and the Muslims and the Jews and it just goes. It's just keeping people separated and hating each other and ultimately controlled. So to me, religion's all about control, and that's my opinion. I don't want to offend anybody's beliefs. I was a Christian, and I have friends of every kind. I have Catholic, Christian, Jewish friends, and I don't care about that stuff, man. I think it's all a way for people to be separated. I think it's part of that old Illuminati scam that's supposedly going on that I don't have too much doubt about myself.
Well, there's so many parts of the Bible, as we know it, that have been omitted, and you can find them now on the Internet, like the Book of Enoch is a very good book.
Yep, and Jemanuel, I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but Jemanuel, is APS guy here?
Well, I don't know if he is or not, but the thing that
yeah,
I was getting at is that, you know, these are aliens that left a crop circle, and they said to beware of false prophets. You know, and when I was a child, about the age of 12, I turned away from the church because what they were teaching made no sense to me, literally. It literally made no sense to me. So I began my own journey through life, searching for the truth, searching for correlations that would corroborate what the Bible was saying. And I found it through other cultures and other writings that corroborated some of the Bible, not all of it, but some of the Bible. I mean, the story of Noah and the flood, you realize that there are 500 flood stories from that same period around the world?
Yep. And I mean, if to me a really good reference point for following that sort of path, where seeing all the similarities, is the Zeitgeist movie. You know, how it just shows you the 12 most basic, or the 12 most popular religions, and how they all have a Jesus-type figure. They all were born and crucified and resurrected, and they healed people, and blah, blah. And that's another thing I wanted to mention, Tom, that you, in one way or another, you're basically saying you're a healer. And it's funny because my father's grandmother was considered a healer where she lived, that people used to come from miles all around for her just to touch them.
No, there's these three strong points I've been able to identify myself over time, and that's that I'm a healer, a teacher, and a guardian.
A guardian? Who or what are you guarding?
Well, there are people that open themselves up to evil entities or invite things in that they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to protect them from what they've left themselves open to. There are bad spirits out there, or bad souls that look for easy victims. And it's more a matter of teaching this person that, hey, you're letting this thing come in. You have to stop. And that's one of the ways that I've been able to get rid of bad entities. In my own experiences, I haven't experienced aliens because, quite frankly, I don't want to. The only thing I've experienced from them is mind speak or telepathy. But I have experienced ghosts, both good and bad ghosts.
Me too, also, yes.
And I've also had quite a few experiences lately with the hairy folks, which have also been omitted from the Bible.
Who are the hairy folks?
Well, they're most commonly called Bigfoot or Sasquatch.
Oh.
But they're written about in the Bible. I mean, if you read the story of Esau, I think it's the greatest joke ever played on the Jews, that one of their own people was born a Bigfoot. If you look at the story of Esau, he was born as a red, shaggy sheep. In other words, he was covered head to toe in red, thick hair.
Hey, have you ever read the book called the Tayuba Prophecy?
I have not.
There's a book. It's on my Scribd group at UFOTimeTravel.com. It's called Tayuba, and it's right on my front page of my website. It's one of the articles. It's called the Tayuba Prophecy, and it's basically supposedly this guy from Australia who was French, but he lived in Australia, that these extraterrestrial people who were like 12 feet tall, they looked like humans, but they were 12 feet tall, and they were all hermaphrodites. They were both men and women together. And they said, according to them, they said the Jews came from a planet called Hebron because their solar system sun was dying, and that they were basically the leftovers of a search party that was looking for an inhabitable planet of the same category, or a compatible planet, and that they basically crash landed here and got stuck here, and that they were fourth dimensional already. They already supposedly moved on to the next level as far as evolution, and they somehow got stuck here. And I think that's a pretty interesting story, and I kind of prefer it over like biblical stories because I like it better. What can I say?
You know, certain things you can research about the Bible, and find in the Gnostic translations when you go back to ancient Hebrew texts, and one of the people that has been pretty much written out of the Bible was the Edomites, who Esau took leadership of, Esau being the fraternal twin of Jacob.
Right.
This is a story where the Jewish people became the chosen race because God chose Jacob over Esau.
Well, let me ask you this, Tom. If you astral travel, right, have you ever thought to yourself, I want to go see these things happen that you read about?
No, I've looked for events in history and traveled back in time to those events and watched them unfold.
So you had to go to Jesus, no?
Yeah.
And what's your take on that?
I didn't stay there very long when I looked at it. I was filled with hurt and agony when I looked at that.
It happens every time, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Go on.
And I saw what he went through and how he felt and the war that was going on within him. There was an internal struggle in him because he was doing what his father asked him to, but at the same time, he didn't want to because, like me, he doesn't feel like humanity is worth saving.
Well, thanks. Well, okay. I have my own story, but it's different than what you say. But, of course, my initial reaction was the same as yours, where I thought to myself, how could they do this to this guy? What's wrong with people? But then, later on down the road, it becomes a little different, where if somebody tried to save him, he would get pissed off. Like, what the hell are you doing? Get away from me.
Well, what I can say is that I've successfully regressed and been able to see 17 of my past lives on this planet. And I did not want to come back. I'm trying to get out of this sagging skin suit. I don't want to be here.
Well,
but I'm not allowed to leave.
Who says?
Father.
Father, you mean Creator, God?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know.
He sent me back for a reason, several reasons, in fact.
And I want to get out of the world is not worth saving.
Well, you know, it came across me like this. I could either stay and do what I agreed to do, and I don't remember this agreement because obviously I'm in this sagging skin suit.
Yeah, everybody who says they astral travel. I'm sorry, I just want to interject that a lot of people who astral travel say exactly what Tom's saying, that they've lived different lives and that they agreed to be incarnated here to do a specific job. Well, sorry about that, Tom. Continue.
That's okay. It was explained to me that, you know, I've thought about taking my own life in the past and was not able to. That thought, or trying to actually do that, caused things to happen that I don't want to repeat. So I've tried to let my health go down and heal so bad that this body would die. And it was explained to me in recent times, and I mean in the last few months, that, you know, I could go ahead and do that if I chose to, but I would not be allowed to leave the body. So if I wanted to be a mushroom laying in bed 24/7, I would still be made to stay here and do what I agreed to do. So I've been working on trying to get my health better and strengthen my legs, and I'm doing pretty good. I have vertigo and I have multiple sclerosis, but I'm slowly overcoming that because I'm not allowed to leave this body, so I may as well make the best of it while I'm stuck in it.
Tom, what can I say? You know, I personally, for a long time, I felt like life pretty much sucked and people suck, and I kind of felt like how you feel. But I don't know, man. There's still a jolt in the back of my mind, in my soul, that somehow it's still worth it to stay and do what you got to do, my friends.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yes, please.
Sure.
I just wanted to ask Tom, right?
Yes.
Smiter. Do you have any idea what it is that you're intended to do?
I don't.
Teach and heal.
Isn't it great? Nobody gets the manual.
Well, the thing is, one thing I've been able to figure out is that I'm a sleeper.
Sleeper?
A sleeper. And there are things that I'm not supposed to know or won't know until the time comes that I need to know them or I'm supposed to know them.
And what time is this? Are you going to be dead, or is there going to be a mass landing coming?
All I know is that it will be soon.
Have you seen a mass landing in your astral travels?
I have not, and I don't want to look at something like that. What I did look at was here on this planet, and when I saw humans falling upon humans and killing each other. That's why, what I've seen.
You said yourself that could change.
Well, that could change, certainly, but what I've seen so far is a series of events that lead up to the collapse and fall of society as we know it.
Well, yeah, but is it going to be the birth of a new, better one, or is it going to be the end of the end?
No, it's going to be the birth of a new one, but you have to understand,
okay.
in order to have a nice trimmed rose garden, you have to weed it.
Of course, man.
So this thing is coming.
You make it sound like the end is the end all for you personally.
No, it's not going to. That's why I'm saying when this comes down, I'm going into the woods and disappearing until it's all over with, and then I'll come out. But I'm not going to be there for the weeding of the flower bed, so to speak.
Why not? What's going to protect you? The trees? You're still going to have to face the music with everyone else.
No, I'm not. I'm going to be so deep in the woods, and I'll be with other types of people that are out there that I've seen and experienced over the last several months, one of which is over 10 feet tall.
Well,
what?
Well, listen, there you have it. There's one other person who has a different reality than the one that TV paints for us all the time.
Yeah, I don't even watch TV anymore. Go ahead. What were you saying?
What was the thing about over 10 feet tall? Was that?
I've seen a man that's completely hair covered that's over 10 feet tall from about 40 yards away.
Did you communicate with him at all? Or you just looked at him?
I've communicated with them. I've exchanged gifts with them because I started leaving food out for them, and they started leaving things like turtle shells and polished rocks and turkey feathers in the place of the food that I had left. I also have recordings of them and photographs.
So, do you have them up? Are they on the internet website?
Sure. I can put my video page in the link.
Cool. Yeah, throw it up in the chat room, please.
Yeah, I can do that.
But
you could leave a cell phone.
All right. Well, if you guys don't mind, I do. Right, such a wise ass. I do want to move on. I do want to cover quickly what was on the front page. Sorry I haven't been chatting with you guys, by the way. I've been going in and out of different rooms of my house. I can't help it. But I'm like pacing around. But I wanted to cover also ATS guy's last couple of findings on the last couple of articles he posted, and I'll just go over them real quick. I'll just refer to the things that he said directly about me, not about conspiracy in general, because like he said that he found a corroboration of somebody saying that they somehow went into hyperspeed. In other words, their bodies down to the singular molecules were moving so fast that the rest of the world was standing still. And I had an experience, an ATS guy found somebody who had a similar experience. And it's funny because they kind of describe it in very layman's terms the way I do, like it's not all scientific and it's just straight up, this is what happened, And I just wanted to thank ATS Guy for that because he's been contributing a lot. And the Amero video that he threw up, I thought was amazing. It's nuts how something that could be positive is coming across so negative, you know, like with the Amero, well, not really the Amero, the Union. You know, I feel like personally that we should have, the entire Earth should be united. There shouldn't be any borders or separation. That's, you know, my belief in my heart, and it's sad that a lot of people don't feel the same way, you know, but I think that it's nuts that, you know, it sort of feels like, for some people it feels like a step in the right direction where the world is becoming united, and then for some people it feels like, you know, keep those fucking spics out of here, you know, and those Canadian, I don't even know what the hell the bad word is for Canadians, you know, but
Canuck.
It's like a lot of, what?
A Canuck is a derogatory term for Canadian.
Oh, see, you learn something new every day, but you know what I'm saying?
Canuck, yeah.
There you go. Like, everybody's just thinking, I want these Mexicans out of my America, and I want these Canadians out of my America. Screw them. The boat's full. You know, there's only so many seats on the boat, and we can't, they're already full, and, you know, like, that kind of bothers me, especially, you know, because I've been called a spick all my life, but besides that, I feel like, you know, I would like to see a united world. So, anyway, thanks for posting up the thing about the Amero.
That's not going to happen until the flower bed gets weeded, man.
Indeed, I agree. And let's see, what else? Yeah, and I do want to shout out one more time about the book/document group I have on the website. It's at Scribd. It's called UFO and Time Travel. I've collected over 600 documents or books that they're either the old 80s and 70s UFO contact books of people's experiences before the internet existed, and then I have a bunch of technology books where it comes to UFO. I mean, I'm amazed. I had no clue that you could do a United States patent search and find actual UFO technologies, calling them UFOs, calling them disc-shaped crafts, right there in the patent office. And what's funny is most of them have been there for years and supposedly still haven't been approved, which is amazing. I found out a little bit about the process of patenting. I didn't realize that United States patents hands off ideas to companies to try and build one to prove that it works first. You know, that's amazing. I definitely wanted to, because to me, you know, I'm trying to turn that document group into a knowledge source for our community of people who believe in this stuff. I put a whole bunch of telepathy books there, trying to learn how to do telepathy, how to read minds, how to do astral travel. Anything I could find, I'm throwing there because I want to read it all, and I'm sure there's people listening tonight who want to know more. You know? And I don't feel like I'm promoting it. I'm making nothing off it. There's no money to be made. The only thing I'm offering really is my love. This is, you know, I know how Tom felt, how he'd rather just say screw it all, but I don't feel that way. I don't want to screw it all.
Well,
not anymore, anyway.
I just want to be in a place so I can do what I'm supposed to do and then get out of this sagging skin suit when I can.
Tom, dude, like I said, man, I understand how you feel. I've been there, you know. I feel like this is my mission right now, man. You know?
Yeah. I know.
Now, to move on, my website. Now, this has a lot of significance for me, and I know for Bart. Right, Bart? About our websites getting hacked?
Oh, that was... Yeah, were they hacked, or did we just fall victim to a tough virus?
Well, I want to convey, because I didn't really convey how sort of serious it is to me on the website, because I was kind of saving it for the radio show.
Okay.
But what happened was our website, because I host Bart's website, our websites were attacked, but not where the hacker hacked into my web page and just added code to it. This was a hack that not everybody could do. It was a very intricate hack. It's called a database attack, where they attacked my database, which is called an SQL database. And when you look at my blog, or the website, it's a blog, it's basically a skin running off of a database. That's where all the articles get stored. And this person or group of people attacked my website, and they brought it down. But they didn't just bring down my website. They brought down a server that not only had my website on it, it had 300 other websites on it that I shared. So this person, by only attacking my website, took down 300 other people's websites, therefore causing the president himself of the company to send the third-tier technical support guys an email directly from his email box saying, shut down UFOtimetravel.com, it's wrecking my business, blah, blah, blah. They wouldn't. I called them 80 times. I begged them to let me keep my site. And that's all they would say. They said, the president wants it shut off. We're shutting it off. There's nothing you can do. We'll give you back. We'll prorate your membership. We'll give you back what's left. Blah, blah, blah. But things got so out of hand that the president himself had to shut down my website, which I kind of took that seriously.
Okay, I didn't realize that it was that extensive.
Yes, it was that extensive, Bart. Huh. Like, somebody seriously took a shot at our websites. Like, it wasn't like some fucking punk, excuse my language, I've been trying so hard not to curse. Punk.
Are you talking about Friday night's attack on BTR?
No, I'm talking about my website I'm talking about UFO Time Travel, my site that I pay for myself out of my own pocket.
Okay.
You know, like I pay a yearly subscription fee to have 1,500 gigabytes of space and whatever bandwidth and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I want a shared server.
You know BTR got attacked Friday night, right?
Get out of here.
Yeah, all of the shows were down on Friday night. They got a hit by the Vundo Trojan, Vundo.
Wow, that's funny because I'm Dondo.
It was such a bad infection that it wrote code, a registry key, into Windows on my system, bypassing the Windows firewall. And I couldn't get, Symantec quarantined it, but couldn't remove it, and it rewrote itself into another registry key. So I had to do a system restore checkpoint back to March 4th to get the damn thing off my system.
Well,
yeah, ATS guy was just talking about that.
Well, the bottom line is that's a serious thing that happened. Like, it's not like whoever did this to me, they did piss me off. I had to jump and start pulling money out of my ass. Oh, sorry, man. I had to go nuts to get money and put the site back up so people don't think I'm just gone and I just flat left. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it kind of sucked. The people put me out. And I couldn't help, throwing up some profanity at the hackers saying F you because, I was mad. I was angry, man. These people, the only thing they're telling me is that I must be onto something, or they're really trying to freak me out, which isn't really working.
I think you're gonna. I think it's leading into Internet 2.0, which will be much more restricted, and there'll be taxes on everything. And
I know there's a horrible future awaiting us, right? The Internet's gonna go away.
Well, no. We can get off this earth. If we can get off the earth, we're okay.
You know what? I think that personally, the future I would like to see is sort of like what Tom says, how people get weeded out. Like the evil people who are just evil souls, they're gonna be somehow boxed out. And the rest. And according to the predictions of the books I've been reading lately, they're saying that 1/3 of our population is what that's going to happen to. That 1 out of 3 people are just negative. They're just negative. They hate everything and everyone, and blah 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 blah. You know, and they happen to be like in like the Illuminati and all these secret societies. They happen to be part of those things.
Well, a lot of these people that act this way or do these things are pawns on a chessboard. They don't even realize that they're being used the way they are.
Of course, man. That's always how. Listen, evil. What's that saying? There's no honor among thieves. Of course, man. If they don't know that themselves, then duh. You know.
Yeah. Well, they understand that they're involved in nefarious activities to some extent, but the bigger picture, they're not being let in on that.
Yeah. Well, you know
their soul. Yeah.
I'm sorry. You go on, Don.
I was saying they can think they're winning, but their souls are destined, for eternity to rot.
Well, that's if that's real. That's if there is.
Oh, absolutely.
If hell, see, I'm so confused about those kinds of things because I imagine that if there's a hell, I don't think it's a place that God made. I think it's a place that it was man-made, whether it's made by a 3-dimensional human being or a 9th-dimensional ball of light. I think it's a man-made it's a creation of something other than God that you can find yourself in if you press the wrong buttons, but I don't necessarily think it's the order of God. I don't think God says, hey, that soul is going to hell, send him there. I think the soul finds its way there either by accident or intentionally.
Yeah, it's hard to label what it is.
That's just an opinion of mine to make that clear.
What do you think about
you ever had a bad dream or a nightmare? You can imagine having that dream for eternity, that nightmare for eternity.
Yes, yes. Well, you know what? That's, I don't know. Right now, I haven't really been very religious. I've pretty much kind of shut that off in my head, and I'm not an atheist either. It's weird. For the first time in a long time, in the last couple of years, I started praying again to God, but in a totally different way. It feels different. It feels more like I know than I ever did before. That's why I guess I've been trying so hard to learn about astral traveling and stuff like that,
Well, the thing that was communicated to me on that is that the Father is not someone to be feared, like the church would teach you.
Exactly.
The term God-fearing. And back in the ancient times, there was a need for people to be afraid of God because they did not think or do what they were supposed to. They didn't make a very conscious decision. They just did whatever they want. They had no respect for anybody else.
Yeah, and and it's funny because a lot of the concepts that you're throwing out there, they're thrown out by that book I was telling you about earlier with the Jewish people called the Tayuba Prophecy. I'm telling you, you should check it out. If you go to my page, UFOTimeTravel.com, it's halfway down, and I definitely do recommend reading it, man. It's if not anything, it's very enlightening, and if you read it and you come to the conclusion that it's fiction, it definitely paints some really nice pictures in your mind, at least. If you don't believe it's true, like the guy who wrote the book says it is, then at least it's a great fiction book. If you choose not to believe it. Me, myself, I really don't know what to believe anymore. But I am willing to learn anything and hold on to it.
Currently, I'm reading a book from a man that sent me the book. It's called Psychic Sasquatch. And I'm reading about his 30 years of interaction with the hairy folks.
Cool. You know something? I'm not going to say that I don't believe that they don't exist, because quite frankly, I believe anything's possible. If a person can think it, it can be real. And how it becomes real, who cares? But I think it can. So I do think that that's definitely a possibility and something that's going to be, I think that is going to be just another truth that's going to be revealed at the time of the big change.
Yep, it's already been revealed to me, and it's not that hard for people to go out there and have their own experience. If their mind is open and they show respect, you can walk into the woods and you'll have your own experience. They'll come around you. That's
what they say will create, an environment where you can have messages like that.
Yeah. It's not a big mystery or phenomenon. It's not this awe-inspiring thing. It's really rather simple. If you know they're in the area, you can go out there, show them respect, and then it becomes their choice. And most of the time they'll choose to have something to do with you, or at least let you know that they're around.
Right. You know what's funny? I was just reading a book that I believe, I don't know if it was ATS Guy or ATS Deck recommended. It's called Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts, who I was talking about earlier in the show.
That was my recommendation.
Thank you, sir. It's an awesome book. I'm reading it right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ideas that are introduced in that book, it seems like Seth Speaks a very straightforward version of what a lot of people are hinting here and there on. You know what I mean? And it's funny because a lot of things that Tom's saying are a lot of the ideas and principles that come across in this book as well. And I think it's pretty amazing, you know. And for somebody to say that they're experiencing it themselves, the only thing that I'm finding trouble with myself about you, Tom, is that you still seem to be in like this. I think I'm just getting the feeling that you're waiting for something yourself and you're on the verge of giving up on the hope. Except you're a little more intense than I am.
Well, I'm on a period of a transition in my own life, so I'm just waiting for things to happen. I'm kind of stagnating a little bit.
Well, you know what? That's funny because I feel like I'm doing the same thing. But the thing is I'm glad I'm reading all these books because they are sort of giving me this encouragement of realizing that only I can, I'm making my own destiny. When it comes to like personal things, like when it comes to my relationships with my family and just my life right here in front of my face, you know what I mean?
What's humorous to me is I've never been to your show before.
Really?
When I got on your show, you said you thought you'd seen me before. May have been on another show. Now, what's even more humorous to me is one of the people that I've talked to once or twice a week, and I don't know if she comes to this show or not. She came into the chat 8 minutes ago, and she's listening to what we're saying. So it just kind of cracks me up. She found me in this show.
It's nuts because your name does look familiar to me, the Smiter. And I think from Blog TV or something like that, maybe. Like I thought, when I first saw your name, I thought maybe you came over from there.
I've been a guest on different people's shows on BTR before.
Cool. You know what's funny? You sound a little bit like Larry Solers.
Okay, great. Don't know who he is, but all right.
Look him up. He's awesome. He said Larry Solers, for the listeners and you, he's a guy who basically says he was involved in some of those Montauk projects and that he worked for Black Ops in the secret government. Like, for example, one of his stories is they sent him back in time to rig the Civil War to make sure that the North wins instead of the South. And when the radio guy, because he did an interview, when the interviewer asked him, he goes, well, who was supposed to win? He's like, the South was supposed to win by a landslide. I was like, holy shit. And I don't know, but I definitely recommend checking out his story. He's got a radio interview, and he sounds a little bit like you, Tom.
Okay.
Except he's got some kind of filter on his voice. That's probably why. Or at least it seems that way. But anyway, I recommend checking that out, Larry Solers. I've mentioned it before in the past on past shows.
How do you spell his last name?
I just wanted to say what's up to the new people joining us, THX 1138. thank you for coming, my friend. GL2814, thank you for joining us. The Watchers, whoever has Watchers, Jeanette H. I just want to give some special shout-outs.
How do you spell Larry's last name?
Solarz. But I recommend checking him out. He says he's done astral travel, he's done interdimensional travel, he's done time travel. A friend of mine, and it's funny because the guy who showed it to me, his nickname is Laser. But anyway, I wanted to get back to my little list here. The last Bart, have you watched the past few segments of the Project Camelot videos?
No, I'll have to say no.
Okay, well, the last few interviews that they did on Project Camelot, the last two specifically, one is with a Russian sort of scientist, UFOologist. He works for UFO magazine or something to that effect, and he was basically talking about that crystal technology and how how it helps heal, and it's just weird. Like, the thing that I just found interesting, the reason why I mention it is because I just think it's nuts how even though something so paranormal happened to certain people, they're still so programmed that they have to still look at it in this scientific way. They still have to, like, break it down and not just say, wow, that really happens. It's like, wow, that happened, but, is that because, X equals EMC squared? Or is that because, it's like, I think it's a little, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I just thought, it's still like, I don't know. It seems like the whistleblower people that they find are, they still seem like fearmongers. You know what I'm saying? But the interview before that one with the pretty blonde girl. Let's see, I got it right here. What's her name?
It was Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica, the Crystal Child.
Yeah.
Now, I thought that was awesome. The thing, like, at first I was watching, I was like, how she was, like, kind of going over her story, her upbringing and stuff, and how she thought she was talking to people and stuff like that, and I just, like, it's weird, like, I realize a lot of things that people talk about, these experiences they have, it's like, I feel like these kind of things maybe might have happened to me, like, once in my life when it comes to, like, things of the mind, like astral travel and stuff. And it's nuts, though, that a lot of people, when they talk about it, how they bring up time travel, and she was one of those people who, she like, to her, it's such a reality. It's like you couldn't convince her that it's not true. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. But the other thing I wanted to bring out about Project Camelot, though, and especially to Bart, because he's the one who's really making me feel this way, is, do you think they're really leaning more towards the fearmonger thing? I mean, look at their forum. All it is now is about survival. It's like they're waiting for, like, the worst thing to happen, and everybody's, like, clamming together to survive, doom. And I'm kind of, like, losing it for them on that. And I've also come to conclusions about people like Dan Burrish, like, for example, he says that the aliens that he supposedly dealt with down in Area 51 likened humans like us to ants, right? To insects. But the thing that, like, stuck with me is he says it with conviction, like he almost agrees with them, like as if he thinks he's one of them.
Exactly.
Do you agree with me on this, Bart, or anybody else?
You mean about Project Camelot going all apocalyptic?
Yeah, like they're sort of becoming, like, not fear mongers, but they're focusing themselves on the fear.
Yeah, they're dwelling on it. Yeah. Yeah, I said that, I mentioned that in something that I wrote a while ago, that actually it was the Alien Blue Star interview when they did that one, and she was predicting all this sort of, I don't know what the word is. I stopped watching at that point because I think it was during that interview or it was another interview around it where Carrie Cassidy was just sort of, she kept on bringing the conversation back to, well, what are the New World Order plans? What are the Illuminati's plans?
Yeah, exactly.
But it doesn't matter what they are, you know. I mean, obviously there are people that want to do certain things, but it hasn't manifested. People have been saying it's going to manifest like for a decade now or longer, and it just hasn't. I left Project Camelot behind, although I appreciate and respect what they're doing. I know that they want to show the full spectrum, but they have gotten a little apocalyptic, and they are dwelling on that stuff. So I've kind of shifted over to the David Wilcock viewpoint, which is like, you know, there's a brighter future in store.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say myself, Bart. Like,
yeah.
Even though, like, I've had a lot of what I consider to be gloomy and doomy kind of visions or memories or whatever you want to call them pertaining to my experience that I think I had, is, to me, the final thing at the end product of it all is this world, this utopian friggin' world where there's no disease, everybody lives for hundreds and thousands of years and not for like 90 years, where there's no disease, people have free sex all over the place, which I know a lot of guys out there like to hear. And that's something to look forward to. Why not focus on that and manifest that for the future instead of focusing on gloom and doom? You know, think ahead of you know, imagine a life of telepathy and space travel and limitless sex. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the important.
Well, I'm not totally kidding, but you know.
One of the things I think you probably missed in that is that we'll be as much soul as we are physical body.
Oh yes, you know what? I do keep
when that happens, what will be predominant in our decision making and our activities will be our soul, not our physical needs. So I don't think people will be.
You know something, Tom?
What?
I stand corrected. I think you're right. Well, in other words, you know that even better. Those things don't mean anything anymore. You're past it, beyond it.
Right.
That's awesome. To me,
I'd
rather look forward to that to a fucking nuclear bomb coming and me scurrying under the ground like a rat.
And I don't want you to take me wrong when I say this, but I look at my need to have sex with a woman as an affliction. Because it interferes with me living my life. Not because I'm homosexual or don't like women. Just it gets in the way at times, and that's why I call it an affliction.
I guess. I mean, to me, pleasure and entertainment is just as important as work that needs to be done. And personally, I don't really believe in work. I believe in, like, I don't know, doing what you love and contributing to your community while you're doing it. You know?
Well, everything I've had any value on or placed any value on has pretty much been taken away from me.
Gotcha.
Over the last few years.
By who? The government?
Just events that happened in my life. My job has been taken away from me. I have
That's the first thing I jump on. I'm like, the government? It's black ops.
No, everything that has happened to me has led me up to the point where I'm at now, so that when I'm told to move, I can move. You know, and get away from the trappings of human society, so I don't get caught up in the victimization that they're doing to themselves.
Gotcha.
When all this comes down. So, actually, I'm exploiting the exploiters because I live off of disability now, so I don't pay taxes.
You're blocking the blockers?
Yeah, I don't pay taxes anymore. In fact, I live off the taxes that everybody else pays.
Oh, thanks.
No?
Cool.
I'd like you to give up the Ghost 2 pretty soon, Tom, because I can't afford that.
Believe me, man, if I could, I would.
I know it. I don't think you're in with that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bart. I always do that to you, man. Well, I
No,
just want you to take over for a little while because I feel like I've been ranting and, you know, you've been kind of in the background.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Tom?
Yeah, I was going to say your taxpayer dollars pay me a whopping $900 a month to live off of.
Yeah.
And somehow I managed to live off that and save money every month. Go figure.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's a good deal.
You've got a victory garden, that's why.
Yeah, well, I own my own house and I own my own car. They're paid for. So I really don't have any bills. I live here with 3 dogs that I love and a cat. My wife left me. You know, if I play the...
Hey, did she leave you because of this stuff or just because of personal bullshit?
She left me, in her words, because it got to be too much to deal with my multiple sclerosis. All
right, man, that sucks. I thought it was, for a minute there, I thought for a second, was it because of, you know, astral travel or, like, becoming a spiritual type person?
No, for the 10 years that I've been married to her, I pretty much shut that side of myself down because I knew that she couldn't handle it. So I didn't explore or do things with my mind like I used to. And it's only been in the last few months since she's been gone that I've been able to open up and start doing things again.
Well, Tom, if you ever get a chance, I would like you to try out time travel, astral travel, and I would like to get your view on Beyond 2012. If you want to see it.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
Robots.
What do you feel about that date, Tom? Is there anything you've gotten or you feel about that?
Well, I do feel things there, but it gets constantly shifting. In other words, it's not set in stone what's going to happen.
Yes, it has been said many times by many people, including myself. Nothing is set in stone. That's why I keep saying to manifest destiny for one and for all. You know, if the majority of the people are looking forward to a beautiful, blissful life, and it's not like I don't know, it's not like
I'm
at a loss for words. I just think that if the people who want something better and are looking forward and are waiting, hanging on by that string for it, I think there's a good damn chance that they're going to get that.
Well, one of the things I did last year, in July of last year, I looked at the future. Without really looking, I knew that Obama was going to win the election. But I wanted to see what all would come down. So what I looked at and what I saw was Obama picking Hillary Clinton as his running mate for vice president. And within 2 to 3 years' time, he would be assassinated and Hillary Clinton would become president. That's what I saw. Now, fortunately for us, what else I saw in that timeline did not occur because obviously Obama did not pick Hillary Clinton as his running mate. But he did assign her as Secretary of State, so she's in there.
Yeah, well, personally, in my view, I seriously think that, well, what I've been saying this whole time for the past 2 years, my main prediction, as it were, is that there is going to be a mass arrival of extraterrestrials, and when we're not talking we're not talking gray-bodied aliens with bulbous heads and big black sunglasses eyes. We're talking about human beings that look like us. And I think personally that just about all of them are time travelers from the past, present, and the future. And I think that they're going to come en masse. They're going to take over the planet and fix it.
Hey,
That's what I was trying to say. That's one of our jobs when this time comes. We will be responsible for helping to clean up the planet.
And it's not, see, in every single alien physical abduction book I've read so far, which has been, I'm up to like 20 now, they all say the same thing, that natural law forbids other higher dimensional beings to coming to a lower dimensional planet and helping them because, they put that like a sort of baby analogy on top of it that, the only way you're learning is through experience it. To make you skip the experience is doing you a disservice kind of thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So to me, the loophole to that is time travel, physical time travel, not astral, mental, physical.
But you also have to understand that we're not the only experiment. We're not the only people that God created. Or Father, or whatever.
You got to read this other book on my thing that I talked about like a year ago from the planet Iarga. And they supposedly, they don't look like lizard people. They look like, according to the book, they evolved from a platypus type animal into humanoids, and according to their description, they're really built, they look like gorilla-like type bodies where they're huge, like they're very muscular and their arms hang down to their knees. But they're supposedly at least one or two dimensions ahead of us as far as evolution, and they came here to write their book and pass on their three principles, which is justice, efficiency, and freedom. And when they say justice, they don't mean like cops in the justice system. They mean like justify the means kind of justice, which I think those are awesome guidelines. The way they describe, if you read the book, I think it's awesome. I think it's a great book. I definitely recommend it.
No.
And and as you said, there's different types of beings that don't just look like us, like humans, like, we're the same type of skin, same type of eyes. I hear a lot about these other beings that they have the eyes with the slit down the middle like a cat has, where they can see interdimensionally, where they can see the other side, so to speak. And I think that's pretty interesting stuff there, too.
I've got photographs of the hairy folks in the woods that were so close to me, and I didn't realize it. I took a picture, and you could see that they have slit pupils.
Well, according to Seth, in the book Seth Speaks, cats can see multidimensionally. That's why they flip out sometimes, supposedly. Oh, an ATS guy wants me to bring up that legalizing weed.
Well, he wants you to talk about everything from when you get a call from your younger self to after the mass landing for the last part of the show.
Oh.
He said one of the details that he sees that you foretold may come to pass is that weed will get legalized.
Well, that's one thing I did say, like I did sort of predict that weed was going to be legal because if my memory served me correctly, if they're real, at the time I came back, it was legal. Like we went into the store and like bought it off like in a deli. You know what I'm saying? Like we said, let me get a pack of marigolds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hey, I know that's that's probably when I say stuff like that, that's probably when people lose it for me and like, shut off the radio show. But I don't care, whatever. And now he said he wants me to go over from when I get the phone call to the concert.
Yeah, well, all the way from the concert to the mass landing and all that, and you'll be enlightening Tom and I'm looking if we have any other new people on the list. Well, whoever listens to the show later, it'll just be an update.
Okay. Well, basically what I think is going to happen next for me is, I've described this in a past show, so I'll just do it again, is basically one night I'm going to come home from work and my brother, the other me, well, it's the clone story, actually.
Tom's not familiar with it, I don't think.
All right, in my book that I wrote, I have a story I call it the clone story. No, it's not in my book, actually. It's from these radio shows. It's basically that throughout my travels, if they really happened, I had a lot of interaction with the secret government and black ops, where they know how to clone people, supposedly, and they somehow were able to clone me at the age of, like, let's say for the sake of argument, 25 years old. And they basically send him to come, like, sort of assassinate me, the real me, so he can take over my life and carry out their plans. And the clone gets in contact with my brother, meets my brother picks him up, drives him to meet me, and I come home from work one night, my brother calls me telling me he's with me, and that him and the other me are going to go meet us somewhere, which I am not going to disclose on this show. I'm not going to disclose it ever. They're going to meet me in a specific spot, and when they do, I arrive, the me now that you're talking to, and we sit down. He tries to convince my brother and another one of my friends, my friend Vinny, that, he's Mr. Nice Guy, which technically he kind of is. And then another me who I'm pretty sure he's from the future of me now. No, excuse me. He's still younger than me, but he's older than the clone as far as, like, the memories that he has. Or, in other words, he's really me. And he comes, he takes out the clone, he takes out the government agents standing by watching, and then me and him go for a little ride, and that's when we go collect all the people. And then the next stop is the concert. And the concert is the hub of time travel to me, where there's going to be this big concert where a bunch of technology is going to be displayed. It's almost going to be like an expo, right? Like, there's not just going to be awesome bands and music and culture of Earth, but there's going to be a display of technology that otherwise the mass of the Earth does not know about. Maybe the secret government knows about it, but the rest of the people don't. And these things are going to be displayed. And all sorts of paranormal things are going to happen at this concert. For many people, there's going to be a lot of different experiences. And the main things I remember are there's going to be a tremendous holographic tower that you can see from other states. And I believe the concert's going to happen, I think, in Pennsylvania. And this is also going to be a time travel hub for me and all the people who volunteered. And my website doesn't have it now, but there used to be a place where people could volunteer. And what's funny is a lot of people who volunteered, I haven't heard a wink from them since then. Some people I talked to quite a bit through email, and they just, like, disappeared, which I find kind of nuts. I still wonder where the hell Gonzo Girl went. Let's put it that way. She, like, disappeared.
There's breaking news.
What?
There's breaking news. It says California lawmaker proposes legalizing marijuana to close the budget gap.
Yep. I wrote a book about it in 2003 that if they legalized marijuana, they would generate double-digit billions every year in just tax revenues, just a small percentage of the real money that would be generated. I agree. See, and the going thing is Teddy Roosevelt made weed illegal to stop Mexicans from coming into the country. And then there's another conspiracy about weed that the Illuminati wants weed to be illegal because they didn't want people to become spiritually enlightened from smoking marijuana.
Oh, sure. That's what they picked. They stomped out all the magic mushrooms back in the Roman Empire days also.
Exactly. And, it's funny because, see, a lot of things I say might discredit me to, like, those stuck-up kind of people, like the scientist-type researchers of UFO. But I really don't care because basically what I'm getting to is I remember a lot of the experience I had. I was a teenager. I was younger than 18 years old, and I experimented with LSD. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I've said it in the past. I've even said it's a possible reason why I'm having these thoughts. Maybe they're hallucinations. Who knows? You know, I'm not ruling out that that's not a possibility. But I remember this one time where I actually felt like I telepathically communicated with some entity, and it projected my life today to me, and this was, I'd say, back in like 1991, and it was nuts. Like, it showed me my wife, showed me my house, showed me the house across the street from my house, which I thought was kind of weird, and that really happened. But the thing is I was tripping on LSD when it happened, so it's like, you know, how much credibility can you put on that for me? You know what I mean? At least the average researcher might say, oh, this guy's fucking acid, fuck him. But the only person who makes me feel not bad about tripping out on acid is David Wilcock. Because that guy is highly respected. People think he is Edgar Casey, for real. And I kind of don't doubt it myself. And he tripped out on acid too, so.
Yeah.
Well, if you do like a liquid fast for like 60 days, you can obtain that state naturally.
Really?
Just that it's much more convenient to
Well, they figured out the chemical recipe to make that happen within a half hour. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if you become a breatharian, you know, you just live off water and air, and you know, you'll definitely get that. Oh, I mean, the hallucinations aren't quite as vivid, but you'll be pretty much up there.
See, and you know what else I related to? Like when I was reading the Seth Speaks book, how they're saying that our thoughts can manifest physically. Like, you know, like they're not saying that everybody does it. They're just saying that it's possible. Like it's an ability buried within our souls, that our minds were blocked somehow from doing it. And he was saying that, you know, like maybe those are the kinds of things that you know, that it kind of pushes into gear, you know, like, I don't know, because it's weird, like, I can, all the times I did it, I recall crazy things happening, especially things short of manifesting, and the reason why I say that is because a lot of times, me and my friends would all be tripping, like, a group of, like, 4 or 5 of us, right, and we'd all be going back and forth thinking, saying it out loud and thinking it as well.
Yes.
Something crazy is going to happen. I don't know what it is, and then somebody would shout out, okay, a car accident's going to happen. And then, like, within 30 seconds, boom, in front of all of us, a car crashes. And it didn't happen once. It happened twice. It's part of the reason why I stopped tripping out.
Or being able to get inside each other's mind, thinking the same thoughts, and yeah.
Like, I can honestly say that. I think that really happened. And I think part of the reason why is every time people trip out, everybody's always checking up on how everybody else feels. You know what I mean? Like, are you feeling like this? Do you see what I see? Like, are the walls moving for you and shit? You know, like, and everybody's checking up on each other, and they eventually become on, like, this, like, wavelength. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can you imagine if the whole world came together as a peaceful unit, you know, and vibrated and focused their energy? You know, we could, you know, just probably manifest incredible things.
Of course. This is what I'd like to see the future of. You know, this is the future I'm looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to the gloom and doom. And even if it does come, I still think there's going to be something much better beyond it. You know, like Tom was saying, like, you know, we'll go into fourth dimensional world. You know, a lot of things that mattered won't, like money and all these physical wants and needs that we have. You know,
well,
the only
absolutely.
thing I want, though, I want retribution in the sense of my physical being, that I want to at least live some length of time happy with my physical body. At least that. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of people think I'm a very happy-go-lucky guy, which for the most part I am. But, you know, I have shitty days, and I hate life sometimes myself. And I just wish there's a time in my life, and not just mine, everybody, for the whole world I wish it for, that there just be a time where everybody's fucking happy. 100%, where there's nothing but love and peace. And I know to some people it might sound, you know, gay or whatever, but F you people. I don't care what you think anymore. And I don't know.
Well,
Sorry.
that's why I'm a big proponent. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You go.
I would say I am a big proponent of researching this whole hyperspace, wormhole, Stargate propulsion technology. That way we can get to other Earth-like planets, and we can get to where we have an unspoiled world. That is our destiny. All this was given to us, and it just doesn't say do not pass go, do not get off the Earth. It's definitely our destiny to get off the Earth. And
tell you, it's happening.
My big pushes.
Well, I'm right there with you, Don, man. Please send me your links and stuff when you get a chance. I definitely throw them on.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to my MySpace page. Yeah.
Cool, definitely, man. Cool.
I bookmarked your website, UFO.
Timetravel.com.
Yes, I did. I bookmarked it. Yes, I got it.
Cool. Well, I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off subject. Is there anything else you guys want me to talk about, Bart or ATS guy or anybody? Because I'm kind of winding down myself.
Yeah, I've had a long day. I think I'm going to go ahead and get off the phone. But
hey, Tom, thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah.
And I hope the best for you. And if you ever feel it, all I ask is for you to try that out. If you're going to astral travel, and if anything, look for my future. Just say, I want to see what this guy's talking about and what's in his future. Past 2012, or to the year 3000.
Sure, I could do that.
Just say, where's Renato in the year 3000, or, something to that effect. I don't know.
And Tom, if you haven't, check out divinecosmos.com, because that's what I think is more right on about what's happening, what's going to happen than anything else.
Okay.
All right. Just so you know, Divine Cosmos is run by David Wilcock, who, according to legend, he's the reincarnation of the great Edgar Casey.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty well. I think it's been pretty well established that he and his they call it. He has an article about the reincarnation of Edgar Casey in his soul group, because he has friends and family members that also have had photographs compared with Edgar Casey and people in his group, and they match. The faces they're striking similarities. So,
and the names as well. Their actual first names a lot of them are the same.
Yeah.
It's not.
But he's talking about a lot of he's talking about what I feel more in tune with as far as what's happening now and what's going to happen. Because if there was really horrible stuff that was going to happen, it would have happened by now. We're being guided basically, I think, into to grow and into something much better. Not that there won't be some unfortunate circumstances. I mean, there are fortunate circumstances now, but
yes,
I think we're guided.
Well, I agree with you, Bart.
It's a school, but it's not. I see it more of a school than a prison, and definitely more than just a chaotic sort of
existence.
Well, yeah, because if you're just left to your own devices, you're basically just going to be destroyed by yourself or some other renegade force. But I think there's more of a guiding force involved, I think. Yeah,
I agree. I do. And, I think, I don't know, man, I really think that we are all here for a reason, all of us. I think that, we all have this plan, and I think we all agreed to do these jobs or whatever, like Tom was saying, in the spiritual sense anyway, because, I don't know, man, I constantly feel like I want to give. But the thing is I can't give things like money, and all I can give is my knowledge of whatever. Like if we're sitting down having a casual conversation, even if we're not talking about UFOs, I always find myself just trying to help people, and what makes it suck and what makes life suck is people take your help and shit on you, and that's the sucky part.
Well, you can't give expecting anything in return. You just have to give,
Well, that's yes. That was brought to my attention early in this game by my guru friend, the Metamorphosis. He told me, he's like, listen, dude, I was like, listen, I said, how could you tell me that? I said, if I do something for you and you turn around and shit on me, why should I have done it in the first place? He goes, listen, man. He goes, you got to give and not expect. And he goes, once you gave what you had to give and you honestly helped them, whether they took it for granted or not, you helped them. So you're walking away as the helper no matter what the outcome is after that. And it makes sense to me, you know. Just sucks.
So, yeah. Well, like Tom said, he feels stagnant. I think everybody feels stagnant. Everything seems like it's kind of come to a standstill, and we're waiting for these things to happen. So, anyway.
And you know what's funny? When you say things are coming to a standstill, you automatically make me think of like hyperspeed and hyperspace. And I think, you know how they say the energy vibrations are going to start speeding up? I think that's why things feel like they're slowing down, because like I said with hyperspeed, right, to me, it's just like that movie Clock Stoppers. They describe it perfectly. He goes, imagine you're a car on the highway doing 25 miles an hour, and a car passes you doing 150. You're going to appear, the guy in the car that's doing 150, you're going to look like you're standing still. It's going to look to him like you're not even moving on the highway. Yeah. And hyperspeed to me is the same principle. In other words, we're speeding up and moving fast, and I don't mean like we're running fast. I mean like the actual molecules in our body are vibrating fast, so fast that everything appears to stand still, that time itself stands still. And that's why I think, you know how they say time is an illusion and how we think linearly is an illusion? I believe that 1,000%, man. I do.
Yeah. So what's making the time pass for me is just to be aware of the circumstances in your life and see if, I mean, even things like seeing the numbers on the clock, you know, and synchronicities with the people that you interact with and stuff. Try to be aware and open to stuff, and you'll see that things are really changing, you know.
Yeah, I do. I believe it, Bart, man. You know what? I believe that everyone we've met along our quest so far, whether they're cool people or freaking a-holes,
yeah,
I think we've met them all for a reason. I think that, you know, that, I don't know, man. I feel like things are just winding down. But I can't help in the back of my head. I constantly feel like this, you know, when am I going to shit or get off the pot kind of thing, you know? Like, because sometimes I feel like I'm a nut job, man. I'll be driving in my car thinking, you know, and I'll be swimming in thoughts about time travel and UFO and picking my own brain for past memories. And sometimes I stop and think, you know, why? Why am I thinking about this stuff? Am I fucking nuts? You know,
I think other people have that too.
When is something going to come along and confirm it for me so I don't think I'm crazy anymore? Because sometimes I'm back to thinking it again, you know?
Some other people think you're a nut job too, you know?
Some other. I'm broadcasting on the goddamn internet that I'm a freaking nut job. You know? But the thing is I feel like it's something I need to do. I don't know if it's you know, I don't know if it's my job to do it or if it's a conclusion I came to or what, but I feel like I have this need to be here. Just like I feel like I have this need to ask people if they want to volunteer to time travel. You know, it's fucking crazy. I know it is, but I feel compelled to do it.
Yeah.
I think you're picking up. I'm sorry. I think you're picking up.
Don, you go.
I said I think you're picking up on what exists already. I mean, if you're talking about cultures that have been around for billions of years, as opposed to our culture, you know, all these things you speak about are commonplace, and it is our manifest destiny to achieve all these. And I think you're picking up on it, and a lot of people are also too. And
cool. Well, I'm, you know, I mean, if like, do you know anything about me besides listening to the show tonight, Don?
No, this is my first encounter.
Right. Well,
with
in my book, I wrote a book trying to kind of catalog all the experiences I think I had, or just cataloging the memories that kind of surface in my brain. And, you know, the memories include plenty of space travel, includes plenty of time travel, it includes utopian societies. It includes
nice.
cavemen societies. It includes freaking Atlantis, pyramids. These are like memories of places I feel like I've been there, and I don't think it's a reincarnation memory. I think it's from this same Renato, born in Brooklyn, soul. You know what I'm saying? I can't explain it, man, but that's what's in my book. If you check out my book,
we're much bigger than the name of the city we're from. You're right.
And
there's much more to us than that.
No, but what I'm saying though is like that's the identity I feel I have while I'm going. See, in my book, basically, I'm saying I was abducted in 1992 by aliens, and then they made me this like sort of test pilot to time travel, and and that was just the beginning of it. And then I think that I was gone for 6 days. My mom reported me missing to the New York City police.
Wow.
And I was missing for 6 days. I was, missing. Like I was reported missing by my parents for 6 days. And for those 6 days, I believe I was gone for somewhere around 40 years. Because
wow.
if time's an illusion on the Renato timeline,
right.
I was moving forward in every direction. But for me, my forward went about 40 years. And when I came back 6 days later, instead of me being 18 years old, I was now, 48. And I believe tremendously in technology. Like, you know how like a lot of people say we're going to move on and become these souls in fourth dimensional, like how Tom was saying earlier? I do believe that, but I do believe that 3D physical bodies, they might lose a little density, but they're still going to somewhat exist. And I think that I kind of like stretched that. In other words, I'm saying the technology that brought me back is basically reverse aging technology, which I also describe in the book. It looks like sperm. It's this drink you drink, and it takes, for every like half an ounce, it takes 10 years off your look. And if you go beyond, I think if you go beyond when like the body age look of like 18 years old, you lose your memories. Like if you were to reverse age yourself back to, let's say, 10 years old, your next waking moment, you're not going to remember being 20, 30, 40 years old. It's going to be like you were reborn again and you lost all your memories. And there's a device to restore those memories. So you could just simply record them, reverse age, restore them. And to me, that's another wonderful thing to look forward to instead of bombs and, and noon.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's part of my story. I wonder how nuts it sounds to some people, but it's the story I have to tell, The only thing I worry about is guys coming to collect me in straitjackets. But they're going to have a little bit of a fight on their hands, though. Wouldn't you say, Bart? I feel sorry for Bart. He lives in the biggest concentration of military people in the world.
Where's that?
Center of it.
No, I'm in the
Where's
Lions Arlington, Virginia.
Are you? Okay. I'm from New York City. Well, I'm from outside of New York, up in the Poconos myself originally.
Well, that's where I live right now, my friend. I live in Jonas.
I know the accent gives it away, and the attitude, and yep.
No, well, I was born and raised in New York City, and I moved up to the Poconos 2 years ago because of because of my mortgage.
Poconos.
I couldn't afford my mortgage no more. But you know what? I don't give a shit about that. I'm happy with my house. I'm happy where I'm at. I like the country. I do.
Yep, you can see the stars.
You know it, don't you? Don't you? Didn't I say that, Bart? Didn't I say that in the beginning? I said that when I moved up here, looking at the stars is a whole new thing.
Yeah.
In New York, you see like 2 stars. It's like Madagascar. They're like, oh, that's a helicopter. That's not. He's like, look, the star is out.
You see Woody Allen and Sting, whatever. Those are the two stars.
My friend was telling me if the sun wasn't here, and we were just our solar system without the sun, when you looked up in the stars, or actually 24 hours a day, it would be completely bright white light. That's how much starshine is coming down on us from the sun, and then our sun drowns out like 99% of that starlight coming in.
You know, I believe that. I believe that according to a lot of these books, and I kind of like believe them, that they say that there's this like invisible grid around the Earth that kind of like only really shows you like a shadow of what's out there. And yes. I kind of believe that because, you know, like you see some of those pictures where there's like a lot of colors involved. Like there's not just stars and black. It's like stars and there's like a purple, blue, red, orange cloud like floating behind it and stuff like that. Those are like the kind of memories that I have, like where I feel like I actually flew through those places in like a UFO. You know what I'm saying? Like I was driving the thing.
Wow.
And I had my peeps with me. I had the volunteers. You know, I have memories of Bart driving a mothership that he's the captain of. And he's got a beard, a full beard, and a hat. I don't know if it's my imagination or if it's a memory, but it's there and it's clear.
It sounds like a Beatles album cover.
It does.
Or a Yes album cover.
Yep. I have these sick memories of being a part of being a part of a mass landing, of being in this fleet. Like, I look up, I look down, I look left, I look right. There's just a cloud of UFOs I can't see out of them. It's like I'm in the middle of, you know, in Finding Nemo when he's stuck in a jellyfish and he can't find his way out? I feel like I'm in the jellyfish, except there's UFOs instead of jellyfish. And 1 million of them are being driven by the same person. Like, there's 1 million Barts over there, there's 1 million Renatos over there, there's 1 million Dons over there, there's 1 million ATS guys over there. And don't discount the hot broads for a second, but I don't know their names right now.
Yep.
Maybe like Kelly and...
I'm sure if whatever you say, you'll hit one. Yeah. Yeah, we'll just wait for that to happen.
Say it again?
No, what were you going to say?
You know, it's another crazy memory that I don't really know if I've mentioned it before, but a lot of times when I remember, like, what I think I remember flying in like a UFO, I always remember pumping mad music and not knowing where the hell the speakers are.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, I remember, like, music being played and it would, like, sound perfect, like, the bass and all of, like, everything's, like, perfect, and I could hear it perfectly and everything, and I'd look around, like, where's the speakers? There are none. You know?
Yeah.
Cool stuff. I don't know, man. I just hope it all comes true. That's all I'm saying.
So
and I'm figuring, you know what? If I'm like wrong, like let's say everything that I've been saying and everything, I'm wrong about everything. I'm thinking maybe on the bright side, since I made a time travel show, maybe the person who really invents time travel will take pity on me and say, hey, you know what? Since you talked about it so much, I'm going to help him out. That's like my fallback thought.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? I don't think anybody's going to get a free ride, or, you know what I mean? Like, I think we're all going to have to fit it out. I told you, Bart. I think that a bunch of people in our little community are they're gonna, in this lifetime before they die, are gonna experience 100,000 times more than what they've experienced up until today. Yeah.
That the truth is gonna swallow them up like the ocean, and they're gonna be a little molecule floating in the ocean, drowning in freaking knowledge and truth.
Yeah, it's already happened. That's why they're in panic mode. That's why they're shutting things down.
And you know what? It's nuts how, even though, like I've said this in the past too, like it sucks that even though we know they're the bad guys and they're all the bad guys, if there even is a such thing as right or wrong, good and bad, it sucks that some of them still have to be there, that there's still lessons that need to be learned to appreciate the future that's coming. And it kind of sucks, you know?
It sucks getting advance notice, yeah. It's like you can see the horizon, but you're still standing in the muck you were standing in, you know.
Exactly. Thank you, Bart.
I mean, as an analogy, you know.
Yeah, hey, you were right on the money, dude.
Yeah, that's
Sorry I haven't
having
been chatting to the listeners. I haven't been looking at my computer. I've been pacing around, collecting my thoughts. How much time do you have, Bart?
We should probably cut it to end it.
Now?
Well, yeah, it's been.
What time is it? Is it 11 yet?
Yeah, it's a little after 11.
Oh, then it must have ended. It's not on the air anymore.
All right.
It might just be us three on the phone, and the other people. Are they still there? Can they still hear us?
I don't know if
I can hear you.
Yeah. Is that Tom or Don?
Don.
I think Tom left. Don.
Yeah.
Oh, Don.
And Don, thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all your input, man.
Yeah, like I said, after I found out about like Coast to Coast and Alex Jones being disinformation agents, you know, it just really pissed me off.
Well,
so
Coast to Coast, to me, in my personal opinion, Coast to Coast is down the middle. There has been half.
I have to tell you that sometimes you have legitimate information when they're calling people and being disinformation agents. And then sometimes those people working collectively do a good job at making legitimate people look like disinformation agents too. I mean, they muck the waters up. They muddy the waters.
Right. And
they're owned by Clear Channel. Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Well,
yeah,
but also there
are
people.
I'm sorry. You go.
I just want to say there are credible people that are on Coast to Coast that are basically the good guys. They're on the right side and they're telling you the truth. So they may be owned by Clear Channel, but those people are still getting that information out.
Yeah. Well, to me, the real truth that people have to realize, the bottom line of it all to me is that people have to realize that one huge company owns 90% of the channels you listen to on the radio and the TV. So, for example, Viacom in New York City. Viacom owns CBS. They own everything except for ABC, basically. They own Fox, they own CBS, they own NBC, they own MTV, they own VH1, they own USA Network. They're all owned by Viacom. They all swim in the same building. This side of the floor is CBS. This side of the floor is VH1. This floor is MTV. This floor is this. They're all under the same roof. People need to know that and realize it. If you think I'm full of it, go find the truth for yourself. But those are the main things people need to know when it comes to that. So then with that in mind, you have to listen defensively and think to yourself, is this BS or is this real? And I don't know. I was a little mad at Coast to Coast when they told me I cursed too much. They called me up. They didn't read my book. They insult me. Yeah, I like the title of your book. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Oh, you curse too much. We'll call you never. Bye.
Yeah.
So I'm a little annoyed with them over that. But listen, of course, you know what I think? I think before the internet came out, when a listener would call in Coast to Coast and say, yeah, something happened to me. I woke up with marks on my body. I almost guarantee that, like, in other words, when the government wanted to know what shit was up with people, they just listen to Coast to Coast. Like, even if the people who work at Coast to Coast don't work for the government, all the government had to do was tap them. All they had to do was tap the phone line and see who was calling when. Oh, this guy experienced, he woke up with triangular fucking injections on his body. Our men in black are going to go pay him a visit tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that Coast to Coast served as like a platform for those types of activities as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It serves. Yeah, the CIA came out with a doctrine back in the early 50s, said they wanted to penetrate 70% of the media. So their CIA's got its hands in all that programming.
Yep. And then there's that famous letter that Rockefeller wrote to the head of CBS saying how if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have the kind of control that they have, and blah 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 blah.
Right.
You know, so hopefully people are waking up to this. It's nuts though that like somebody like me is it's nuts that like hopefully I feel like hopefully I'm reaching the right market. I hate to sound like a sales guy or something, but with this message of love and positivity that I hope I'm somewhat getting across, I feel like I hope I'm hitting my target market of people. That's all. Because I feel like certain people are geared to convince certain people. I think like the older people, like the whistleblowers who they're 60 something. I think they're there to cater to the same people, the other 60-year-old people who had experiences. So I think I'm catering to like the MILF type people, the 30-year-olds, and maybe the 20-year-olds too.
They've got the older generation so whacked out on pharmaceutical prescription pills they can barely remember where they put their comb in the morning, let alone expound upon universal thoughts and quantum physics.
Exactly. Hey Dom, before we end, I also wanted to say, check out that book on my site on the front page. It's called the UFO's Hacker Manual. It covers in depth all the UFO patents of basically involving quantum physics and 0-point energy. You said it before. How how
Stargate, wormholes.
No, one other one. How propulsion. That's what they call
hyperspace.
Yes, hyperspace propulsion. This book covers it. It points you to exactly the U.S. patents. Has all the schematics laid out. It's an amazing book that I think, with the buzzwords you've been spitting out, I think you would heavily enjoy reading it.
You wrote it?
Hell no. I'm a metalhead who plays guitar who thinks he was abducted by aliens. I'm just starting to learn science, and I've only been researching this stuff for 2 years, man. There's people who've been researching this for 20 years who, they know a lot more than I do.
I was watching Metal Mania on VH1 last night. They're playing some old school metal.
There you go. But that's me, man. I'm a metal dude who never made it. I became a computer technician, and I woke up one day thinking that I was abducted by aliens, and it's been haunting me ever since. And it went from being like a haunting dream that kept me up at nights with waking nightmares and self-trepidation, and then one day it just clicked that it was really a positive thing that happened, and I have nothing to be scared of. Because, I read a lot of books of people who were terrified constantly, and the only thing that terrified me in my experience that I remember of being taken anyway is that I was terrified to go. When they said, come on, let's go, I was like, I don't want to go. You know what I mean? And they did perform surgery on me and shit, and I do remember that pretty clearly. But I also remember it only hurt for less than a second. My screaming and fear was more painful than the actual pain itself. But I don't know. I can't prove to you whether it happened or not, but it's been haunting me for quite some time now. And I found many corroborations thanks to my friend Bart. And ATS Guy and Doctor Who and all the people who have been interacting with me and who have befriended me. All those people have been helping me, have been pointing stories out to me, pointing out, they've been helping me research my own story, which I'm extremely thankful for. That's why I call them all the the volunteers and the captains and the, the spiritual leaders. And leaders is a poor term. They're just the people who are on the forefront, man. When the shit does hit the fan and extraterrestrial reality is reality, we're going to be the first people, the people who denied it for so long, come to ask questions to. And we're going to be there to answer the questions. At least that's what I think and hope going to happen.
You get to you research this stuff, and you get to a certain point where you've just reached the end of it, basically, and you're waiting. Like, I was reading a David Wilcock article the last couple of days, and he said he's gotten to a point where he's just waiting for new material to be released because he's plowed through everything, and that's the way I feel too. We've gone over everything 8 different ways,
Same here, dude. I only the main reason why I did this show initially, to be honest with you, was because of the hack thing, because I was really angry, and initially my plan was to come on and threaten the hackers and tell them they better hope there's no such thing as time travel, because somebody's going to come pluck them out of their fucking beds in the middle of the night, but that's not love. That's negative.
Yeah.
So I decided not to say anything like that and just, well, too late, I just kind of did, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, just do a show.
And because I feel like I've researched, I feel like all this stuff that I've been reading now on Scrib that you guys, like all the books you guys recommended to me and stuff, the one thing I didn't get to talk about tonight, which it's only us 3 listening to it anyway, but I seriously want to try doing hypnotic regression now, and I'd really appreciate if you could help me research somebody in New York City who will do it.
Okay.
Or Philadelphia. Like, those are the 2 cities I'm willing to travel to sit down and get a professional who knows how to do hypnotic regression, and I would like to openly invite you, Bart, to come participate if you would want to.
Yeah.
But if not, it's no big deal. But I'm definitely bringing somebody along with me to videotape it if it ever happens.
I would tape it, yeah.
Because I'd give them a list of questions that I want them to specifically ask me about certain times and certain things that happened. I'd mostly want to question my whole entire timeline that I laid out with you, Bart, of all the things that happened to me, of all the times throughout my life that somebody stepped into my life saying they were me from the future.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I don't know if what's funny is when I sent out the list to everybody today, I sent out like an email list to everybody saying I was going to do a show. And for the hell of it, I threw in a few old friends that I don't think they have a clue about me thinking I'm abducted and all that.
Yeah.
And it turns out one of the guys that I met in 2005 at the mortgage place, he's totally into UFOs. And as soon as he said that, the first thing that popped into my mind was the first time I met the guy, I didn't meet him at work. I met him at a friend's bar because one of the guys I worked with owned a bar. And when I met him at the bar, he was sitting at the bar, and he was sitting at like the end of the bar, not like on the long side. He was sitting on the short end of it. And there was a guy standing behind him who looked just like the guy. Yeah. He had the long hair. He was a long-haired metal dude with a goatee, and he didn't look like a biker. It was the guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That guy. The guy who looks like me, except better. Yeah. Yeah.
The good-looking future version of Renato.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I wasn't wasted when I got there. I just got done driving for like 2 or 3 hours. I wanted a drink. As soon as I got there, I bought a drink. You know what I mean? But when I saw the guy, and he was looking at me funny, and every time I see the guy, or I've seen the guy up to 2005, I'd always think to myself, I'd always get jealous and be like, that jerk-off looks like how I used to look and how I wish I looked now.
Yeah.
You know? And it's funny because now, like, in the last couple of years, I've been thinking the whole time, I had nothing to be jealous of. You know? If it's real, of course. I don't know, Bart, man. I can't help it. I do think it's real. I just wish I could prove it. I just wish I could prove it to myself and you as much as everybody else wants me to.
Yeah.
You know? But I can't.
Well, maybe that the past life stuff, regression would pull something out. Who knows?
Yes, that's why that's my last I don't know what to call it, the last thing I want to try, Bart. The research has convinced me quite a bit that we've done, and again, I'm very thankful for all the help you've given me and the other guys. And, you know, that's it. That's the last thing I think I want to try. I think I want to try hypnotic regression, you know, get it out of my skull. And is Don still there? Hello? Bart?
Yeah, I'm here.
I guess everybody got cut off.
I guess goodbye then. Goodbye, all.
Later, guys. But, yeah, it's probably just us now. No big deal.
So when we get somebody to do that, we're not going to give them any information in advance that might taint the, it's sort of like a test here, too. You know, it's like a credibility test or a authenticity test. You don't want to feed them information.
Exactly. And and like I said, man, I just want my proof for myself already. Like, I'm, you know, as much as, like, I keep saying I'm looking forward to this beautiful, you know, change, which I really do think is going to happen. But I can't help feeling, like, anxious about it, you know? Like, I don't know. I just, like, sometimes I just get frustrated where I'm just thinking to myself, why won't something happen already, you know? Why won't the phone ring or the doorbell or, you know, or an email or just fucking something saying, dude, you know, or just telling me to chill out at least. Saying, we're here, don't worry, we're coming when the time is right or something, you know, just something.
Well, there's so many people that are saying we're there, like we're other contactees, you know, people, they're just saying they're waiting. We're right there. It's happening now. So you can feel the flames sort of, you know, burning you. You know, we're that close.
Yeah. Well, Bart, it's weird. I feel like that, yes, but at the same time, I feel every day like, it's today the day. It's today going to be the day. You know?
Yeah.
Especially when, like, my heart starts fluttering and stuff and I start feeling weird. You know, and, like I said, I mean, this has happened to me throughout my life, but nowhere near as concentrated, as intensely as lately. I keep having these waking moments of feeling like summer.
Yeah.
And it's weird. The only thing that's come to mind so far is that I feel like either there's like a multi-dimensional person standing near me who loves me, or there's like a soul passing through me, or just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're getting like intimations or glimpses of something. You're getting some sort of transmission or communication or something. Or you're sensing something, or you're opening up, or whatever it is. Yeah,
and it's just, I like to note it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like to make a note of it just so, because, you know, they say the shift is happening, and we've been talking about it for the last couple of years, and I'm wondering if it's happening for me, and if it is happening, at least I'm sort of like hyper aware, you know? But the thing is I'm afraid if I'm too hyper aware that I'm going to oversight things, you know?
What do you mean?
You know, like I'm going to pass it off for not being something that has to do with the shift. You know, with my programmed rationalization, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, just be aware. Like, be aware of your sleep patterns, your dreams, be aware of like the sensations you have, all that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. But
yeah.
and I'm also trying to note them. So, like, if next year I feel those same feelings, but they're way more intense, and I feel like I'm experiencing with them, I can look back and say, you know what? Wow, I started feeling like that at this time. I don't know. It's just something that, like, I'm consciously aware of. Any weird thing that's happening to me, I'm, like, hyper aware of it,
Yeah.
But the thing is the things that I want, I'm not getting. Like I want to astral travel now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to have out-of-body experiences, man. They sound awesome, But I try, and it doesn't seem to work. And when I wake up, I can't remember my dreams. And when I do remember my dreams, they're too friggin' weird. Like, they're not nightmares, but they're not exactly fantasies. They're like just weird.
Yeah.
And I always have dreams. I never have dreams when I'm flying. I always have dreams like when I'm in buildings or in cities.
Yeah, you kind of have to learn. You have to kind of go with the flow with it. Whatever is happening to you this second is what's supposed to be happening to you. You just have to go through it.
Word.
Yeah.
All right, Bart. Well, I think I'm going to call a night. Do you have to get up early for work?
Okay.
Dude? Bart?
What's that? Yeah.
Do you have to get up early for work?
No, because I don't have a job yet.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, it's just me and you now, dude.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm gonna cut it off because I gotta get to bed anyway. I'm working on getting a job, and so I am doing something for that tomorrow. So.
Cool.
But I'll send an email. I'll send an email. Let me know what's going on, any weird things going on. I'll do the same.
All right, awesome, man. Well, I'm not gonna change my our communication style.
Yeah, no, sounds good.
And anytime something comes up, I'll let you know, and you always do. And but that's it, man. Thank you, Bart. I don't know if this is. I'm pretty sure this recording will still be
okay.
Go. I'm sure it'll still be broadcasted on the archives or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, those guys in the beginning, Tom. I wasn't sure if I should cut them off or leave them on, so I just said, I'll leave them on. Because he had some pretty interesting stuff to say.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Well,
for a minute, I felt like he was like a government agent guy, the way he talked. But I don't care whether he was or not, to be honest with you.
I think it's because you're used to having people call in that are just high.
Mm-hmm.
And he sounded, lucid.
Well, if I'm sure he had to be on some kind of prescription drugs if he had scoliosis or.
Yeah.
So can't knock the guy for that.
Nope.
But that's it, Bart. Man, it was an awesome show. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you too. It was good to catch up and talk about the stuff again. Get it out there.
Definitely. It's weird. Like I don't feel. I'm sure when I listen to this later, I'll be like, wow, we covered a lot. But at the end of the show, I always feel like we never covered everything we wanted to.
I think we did all right.
I did too. I don't know if I don't know if this show is convincing people of my story or just talking about the potential future that we're on the horizon of.
I don't know what it would do to. I think they have to take all of them in together as evidence, as persuasive evidence. I think it's just talking about it. It just keeps an open dialogue about the subject, going. So that's really what it's for. Just share thoughts and keep an open dialogue on the subject, because we're some of the few people that are talking about it this way,
Definitely. And it's weird, even though it seems like a lot of people are, talking about paranormal type stuff, but more leaning towards UFOs, it's I'm sure it's still, need a little bit more oomph to really make a dent on the mass of Earth, you know?
Yeah, they're all getting hung up on the evidence. They're all getting hung up on the UFO videos and photos, and that's
right. And they're also getting hung up on hate and negativity, where you know, they're saying fuck the world and fuck everybody, and I hope everybody dies because everybody sucks. You know, like, some people need to lose that mentality as well. But the thing is you know, it's almost like an action has to happen for them to realize that. It's like it won't evolve on their own. It's like something has to kick them in the butt into that direction, kind of, you know?
It's a shift. It's a major shift.
Yeah. Indeed.
All
right,
sir.
Bart. Thank you, sir, once again. And it was great show, great talk. I feel refreshed. You know, I feel like I had my therapy. It's been 6 months, so you know I needed to release a little tension.
Once every couple months.
And it feels good. I do feel refreshed, and I do feel like I was able to get some stuff off my chest that's been festering in my brain, you know.
Well, just in the interest of treating you as a lab rat, I'm interested in looking for someone who can do the regressive hypnosis.
Dude, like
I
I
want to
said,
take your brain.
Dude, I have a list of questions, and I'm more than willing to take all your questions under hypnotics, no problem.
All right.
I'm totally willing now to do it. I don't know what made me not want to do it in the past, but now, well, I feel like I'm at the end. I feel like all the research, like we said before, all the research we've done, I'm convinced now that this is the last leg of convincing that I need.
Yeah. If we can get somebody. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, sounds good.
So definitely, man. If you could help me, man, because I've Googled it, I've Yahooed it, I've tried a million different phrases: hypnotic regression, hypnosis practice, hypnosis doctor, hypnotic regressor, and it's like I feel like I'm either coming up short, or the people I do find that I email them, they don't get back to me. It's like, what, you know.
Yeah.
I emailed Chris Augustine directly from aliensthetruth.com. He never got back to me.
Yeah.
So.
Nope, I'll help you out.
You've pulled magically stuff up in the past, so I'm just hoping maybe you could do it again one more time.
Oh yeah, no, I'll pull something up. Yeah.
Cool. And like I said, and you're totally invited to come partake as well.
Yeah.
You know, like if you want, find somebody in Philly. So Philly's like a halfway point for you and I. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll only take you, well, like
3 hours,
like 80,
2 hours,
like 50 hours to get there.
Yeah.
It'll take me 2.
Yeah. Well, I'll be flying in a ship. I don't know what you're taking.
Well, then you'll be there in 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'll be there yesterday.
You're already in the hotel, ready to meet me in a few hours?
Yeah.
But definitely, dude, I'm serious. If you can find somebody who'll do it for either free or cheap,
yeah.
I'm more than willing to do it. And like I said, you're totally invited to come along and do your part. You know, ask
good.
questions or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd even be, if you learned how to do it, I'd even be willing to give it a shot with you. You know, like over the phone or I don't know what. You know, but if we can get it set up with a professional who has experience and who's successfully done it, I'm all for it, dude.
No, I'm on it. I'll figure it out.
Cool.
I'll let you know.
All right, Bart. So I'll let you go. Have a great night, brother.
You too.
Rock on. Be safe. Get laid.
Right on.
Live, love, peace.
Prosper.
That's it. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be broadcast, so I want to thank the guys who called in. I want to thank all the listeners. And rock on. What can I say?
Yeah.
All right, the future will be upon us sooner or later.
Yeah, it's here now, so just sit tight.
Future now. All right, brother. Thanks, Bart.
Have a good night.
I'll email you or call you soon enough, my friend.
Okay.
And if anybody calls you saying they're me, let me know.
If I have approval to do that, I will.
Well, yeah, exactly. If they tell you, it's okay to tell me.
Yeah. Okay,
right,
sir.
I'll talk to you soon, man. Have a great night.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.